What's this? Another episode of Opinions in Dispute? That's right, you got it. We're talking transfers with my mate Josh right up here. And we are going to talk about Man United and Chelsea and just transfers in general. Just a transfer chat. Everyone loves a good transfer chat. This one's on Opinions in Dispute. I'm your host, Dongwook Kim. Let's get into this one. All right, Josh. I know I've done a lot of Man United transfer talk. Tell me about what Chelsea's prospects are looking like.
Well, I mean, you've got me on quite a sore mood, I suppose. We just lost in the transfer race with Hakimi. Hakimi's gone to Paris Saint-Germain. And
is that a done deal? Is that a done deal?
I mean, Fabrizio Romano has said, here we go. So, I mean, if Fabrizio Romano says something, I will trust him to the death. So, I mean, I think that's a done
deal. And women
deal.
say men aren't trustworthy. My goodness.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Fabrizio Romano, that's on another level.
Yeah. So Hakimi, that was one of the topics I was going to discuss. But Hakimi has gone to Paris Saint-Germain. Okay.
Yep. Indeed.
Anything else? Chelsea have got up their sleeve. They always seem to have something.
I know. I mean, there's the thing with Chelsea is that in the transfer window they go all quiet. You don't hear anything about them, and then suddenly they announce it. Erling Haaland is a Chelsea player. To be honest, at this point, they've also had links with Adama Traore, and I suppose they've been looking for that right wing back, a replacement, or I don't want to say replacement, but a backup to a Reece James or someone, which worries me a bit because we have just so many talent on that right wing back and right wing side already. Though I do think that having a backup like Adama Traore is definitely very helpful, especially with Azpilicueta getting old. Our Adama Traore is definitely something that we've been looking at recently. Although we do have Tino Livramento coming in from the academy, who I think won Best Young Player of the Season award in the under-21s or something like that. So he's very good, but we'll see how it goes with the right wing back. But of course, the main transfer talk of the summer for Chelsea is Erling Haaland.
Yep. No, I have it down in my notes here. I got Haaland / Lukaku / a striker. What about Lukaku? I know the trail's gone a bit cold, but Haaland's going to cost you 150. I mean, I definitely know Chelsea have the money, unlike another club, United. But what about Lukaku? He's going to cost what? Much half the price of Haaland?
But Lukaku isn't going to go, would he? I mean, he's been saying a lot about how he likes it in Inter and how he's staying there next year, right? And of course, we're talking about modern football, and players aren't normally a man of their word, let's say. But then I do think Lukaku is going to stay at Inter next year. I don't think anything's going to tempt him away. Of course, Inter need the money, but then they're getting, I think, 70 million from PSG for Hakimi, so they probably don't need the money as much now that they've got that 70 million in the bag. I think Borussia Dortmund with Haaland, I think we can argue it to a 120 million price for Haaland.
Dortmund,
so?
Dortmund. If you don't meet their price, they say, no bueno, we're not selling him.
I mean, the question has to be, I think it's going to be ultimately linked with the Jadon Sancho thing. If Sancho goes through, then Dortmund don't need the money, or at least they don't need it as much. If we get Erling Haaland before you guys sign Sancho, we probably could be a bit harder on the money. Remember, this is no random person discussing things for Chelsea. It's Marina Granovskaya. We got Havertz for 72 million when they said he'll cost 90 million. She's good at negotiating.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you. Dortmund, it's going to be difficult to lower the price. But the thing is, I suppose with Haaland is that you either go for Haaland or trust in Timo. I don't want them to go buy another 80, 60 million pound striker like a Schick or something like that. He comes in and risk him not performing very well. Just go big or just don't sign anyone at all.
I mean, from an outsider's perspective, I don't think you need to worry about signing, 50, 60 million pound player. Chelsea will splash the cash. I mean, that's one thing that you know about Chelsea for certain in the transfer market. You will get what you want. But just on that, because I have a lot of updates on the Sanchez situation. Sancho deal imminent. Fabrizio Romano has said that the deal is basically being finalized for around 72, or in total about 80 million, 75 to 80 million pounds. So what does that do to Haaland? Does it put him off the books? I do think that if the right offer comes in, that Dortmund will sell him, because next summer he'll go for 70, whereas this summer they could get 130, 150 million. Haaland, is that really the only option for Chelsea, or is there other ones lurking?
I mean, the biggest other name, world strikers, who do you think about? Haaland, Lukaku, Kane, but Kane's not coming, is he? I mean,
yeah, definitely not.
I mean, there's no way on earth. It's going to be
Daniel
like, even
Levy.
if we offer him 700 million, they're not going to let Kane come to Chelsea.
Yeah.
Just as a point of pride, Levy's not going to allow it.
Yeah.
And Man City, they've put in, I think, quite a good bid for Harry Kane, 100 million plus Sterling, or who was it, Jesus or Laporta.
Yeah.
I think that's, to be honest, I think that's a good deal for Tottenham to take, in my opinion.
It's the best deal, definitely.
Yeah, they should go for it because they do need the money and they do need a squad rebuilding, Tottenham. But who else could we go for? I can't think of many other names. Actually, there have been talks about Lewandowski, but he's old.
I heard those.
He's getting old. And would we get him? If we do get him, how long would he last? How sustainable is he? 2 seasons, 3 seasons max? I don't see anything longer than that, to be honest. At that level, you need like a Ronaldo-like form to keep him in shape for the next 4 seasons. And that's like lucky for a 32-year-old player or something.
I think, because I've had a thought about Lewandowski and how he's around 32, I think, right now, although I might be wrong. But if you think about, imagine if Chelsea had Cavani this season. Would you want Cavani? Would you have liked Cavani at Chelsea this season?
I mean, if we had Cavani, I think we would have scored way more goals. I mean, we need to remember that our current top scorer is Jorginho on penalties. Yeah. 7 penalties, top scorer. And then looking at that, you're like, how did that happen? How could someone win the Champions League when your top scorer got all his goals from penalties? That just doesn't make sense at all. Somehow it happened, of course, but I mean, there is some question marks over the fact that we do need a clinical target man up top. Yeah. And
now the fact that you say that you would have liked Cavani at Chelsea this season, I think that means you should go and get Lewandowski. Because I think Lewandowski is not as good as Suarez. I don't mean right now, but as in their overall career. I think Lewandowski is not as good as Suarez, but Lewandowski's career has been better than Cavani's. And they're all just right there, but relatively, it goes Suarez, Lewandowski, Cavani. Cavani's 34, and United have determined that he has a season left. So if Lewandowski plays the same age as Cavani, which is going to be 35, he's going to give you 3 seasons, but those are going to be 3 elite seasons.
True. I suppose the Lewandowski thing is that it is very attractive, and I can see it working. I mean, you've kind of rekindled my faith in going for Lewandowski, but there's also this side in me which says trust in Timo and trust in Kai. And
false nine.
Yeah, false 9. I mean, false 9 can work. We saw it work with City. I mean, they have Jesus, but they've been using a false 9 a lot this season, and they've won the Premier League. I don't think it's impossible. Because the thing is, we do create enough chances to win games and win games by a large margin. Timo makes so many runs, if you watch Chelsea, that it's actually insane. The chances he gets is actually insane. If he can finish, I think he would have beaten Kane to the Golden Boot this season. And that's just saying if he finishes normal, easy chances that strikers should finish. If he was in the form that he was at when he was at Leipzig, he would have finished that and he would have been Golden Boot this season. Little question about that.
Yeah.
The only thing is that do we trust in him for another season, or do we go for Lewandowski, who, of course, is a very, very good striker, but trust in Timo? Hard to say.
The thing is, and I like that you mentioned the false nine. The reason the false nine works for City is because they are a very clinical side. You think about Gundogan, he's one of City's top scorers. I think he might be City's top scorer. Although don't quote me on that. He's Gundogan, very clinical. Bernardo Silva, very clinical. Sterling is the least clinical out of all those attacking options, but he is still, he has developed himself into a good goal scorer. Not a great goal scorer, but still a good goal scorer. I think with Chelsea, the obsession with a striker comes with the obsession of wanting a great finisher. Because that's what I think that's a hole in Chelsea's team, just as, defending is a hole in United's team. Finishing is a hole in Chelsea's team. And I wouldn't bench Werner, no way. Werner is a very good player for Chelsea. Although he probably wouldn't be able to, hit the target from 3 yards out. But still, he's a very good footballer. Kai Havertz, same. He's a baller, but not really a finisher, if you know what I mean. It's not really a person you say, all right, you know what, take the ball, run to the goal, shoot it, tie the game or win the game. Don't really have that kind of player. I think you just need someone like that. And just to think, even if you had Cavani, how good would you have been? And Cavani wasn't, he didn't light the world on fire. He was just a good striker for United. But imagine if you guys had Cavani. I mean, I think, or even if you had someone like Suarez, what you could have done. And I know you wouldn't have gotten Suarez, but still, I think that proves that Lewandowski is still sort of a viable option, even at 32.
True, I would say I have to agree with you on that one. Lewandowski would be a good step up, or at least a good player to have in our team. I think in any team as well, just that experience and stuff. Talking about strikers, actually, the problem is it's something that I've been quite sad about, and I'm almost starting to cry now. But I'm actually just wiping my eyes. But to be honest, we're getting rid of Tammy Abraham, and that just saddens me a lot. It's quite unfortunate.
Yeah.
Going to Aston Villa looks like Aston Villa with £40 million. I mean, that's a lot for Aston Villa to pay, and I'm quite surprised they actually are going to pay 40 million for it. But it looks like it's becoming more and more likely by the day. And there's always that question: would Tammy Abraham have been that more clinical striker? And that's something which has been on my mind of late.
I think you're letting go of Abraham a bit too soon.
Yeah.
I think he could have, he's a big, tall guy, fast, has the touch, could be another Lukaku. I mean, Lukaku was at Chelsea, and look how he turned out. I mean, well, although, I think it is not a bad move to make. Abraham probably won't get his spot on the team. Chelsea looking to bring in a striker, but I think you're giving up on him a bit too early, man.
Have to agree with you on that one. It's one of the only questionable things I've had about Thomas Tuchel's new arrival. I mean, can you question the guy after he wins you a Champions League?
Yeah.
Hard to say, but I mean, if you could question anything about his choices, that would be one of them.
Yeah.
Do you have any news about Man United, though, on your end? I haven't been thinking much about that.
Sancho, it's good as done. He might as well be holding up the shirt. Romano has been close to the Sancho deal. He's been closer than anyone on any deal. He's very close to the Sancho deal, and he's basically said it's done. If it's not going to be announced next week, it's going to be announced as soon as England win the Euros, which is sort of an inevitability at this point. As for Varane, United lead the race for Varane, but I remember United leading the race for a lot of players, such as Fabinho, such as Ramos, I think 3 years ago. And look what happened. Fabinho's at Liverpool, Ramos stayed at Real Madrid. I remember Man United led the race for De Ligt, he's gone to Juventus. Man United led the race for Ronaldo, he's at Juventus. We could be leading the race all the way, but Man United's the sort of team to fumble a transfer at the finish line. Although Varane would be the ideal signing, I don't think we'll be able to do that. And I think we'll probably get someone like Pau Torres, who is a good player, but he's no Varane, is he? I mean, just on the centre back situation, I know Chelsea are looking into a centre back. What's that landscape looking like?
I mean, the thing is, I think we're also in the pool for Varane as well. We're also thinking about offering Sergio Ramos a contract. He is on a free agent right now. I think that the Sergio Ramos idea might actually be a bit more attractive than the Varane one, to be honest. Because Sergio Ramos is old. And you might say, why bring in another old centre back? But we have really young centre backs in our club coming through. I mean, yes, we got rid of Tomori, but we do have Rudiger is not young, but we do have players like Malang Sarr, who has been playing away. We have Ampadu, who has been playing away. We've had these players around, but imagine them coming back and having someone like a Thiago Silva, like a Ramos to look up to. These players with talent can develop into a really, really powerful force to be reckoned with at the back. And I think bringing in Sergio Ramos might be better than a Varane, in the same way that it's going to be not only, I think, be cheaper, but would also be a bit more reasonable as well. Let United have Varane. You guys can have Varane all you want. But
I mean, I would love that. I mean, thank you. Because if Chelsea are in for Varane, I think he'll go to Chelsea. United never ever win a race in which there are two people. I mean, we have lost races where we are the only contestant. AKA Jadon Sancho last year. We were the only team in for him, and we mucked up the deal. So, I mean, I hope Varane comes to United because he fits us very well. He's fast, going to play well next to Maguire. He's of the right age, just in his prime, 27, 28. Think he could work well. As for Ramos, I think he will go to PSG, and I think he was offered a contract by PSG. Mm-hmm. But I think, imagine the leadership he provides. Imagine, the best centre-back, one of the best centre-backs ever, coming into your club and saying, you know what, this is how you do it. This is what you eat. This is how you train. This is how you study the film. Imagine Ramos coming in, helping out those young guys. That's gonna be massive. But although would a Silva Ramos backline work, they're basically on the wrong side of 30, both of them.
Yeah, that's a problem as well. And I mean, talking about him going to PSG, if he instills discipline into that PSG team, man, they're going to be the next big thing.
Yeah.
The problem with PSG is themselves. If they get more disciplined, they are the next Barcelona, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
They have Mbappe, they have Neymar, they have Verratti, they even have Donnarumma now. Like, I don't know how you could possibly get Donnarumma and Keylor Navas in the same team. Yeah. I mean, like, Keylor Navas is arguably one of the most underrated goalkeepers in the history of football.
Exactly. I've said that. I kept saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Keylor Navas, very good keeper. And yet he got kicked out for Courtois, and he's getting basically kicked out for Donnarumma.
Yeah, so I mean, I think if Ramos goes to PSG, Europe, the entire scene at Europe might change. It has the potential to change.
I mean, imagine that. You got Wijnaldum, you got Donnarumma, you got Hakimi, and you got Ramos added to that team. And nobody's left PSG. I mean, just those additions. My goodness, they definitely look like a scary team. But I've heard something about one Jules Koundé going to Chelsea. How does that sound?
It does sound good, but the question is do we really need more people in that position? Do we really need more people anywhere on our pitch? I mean, how much of an upgrade is it? It's like buying a new attacker. Unless it's going to be Erling Haaland or one of the best strikers like Lewandowski in the world. How many forwards do we need? How can you possibly keep that many forwards in your team without having some squad falling apart kind of thing, I suppose?
Yeah.
How many defenders do we need? We have people out on loan. They're going to come back. I know Chelsea sends millions of people out on loan every single year. But is that sustainable to bring in another centre back without getting rid of anyone? Added to everyone's on loan. It is an attractive signing, but for in the long run and also for like kind of the Chelsea vision, it's not good for the team as a team spirit.
Just to finish off, this is currently the player I want Manchester United to sign, although they will never sign. He is one of my favorite players in the Premier League. He is Mason Mount's best friend. He is Declan Rice. What do you think about the boyhood Chelsea fan, the best friend of the man of the match of the Champions League? What do you say to that? Declan Rice, available for a cheap 80 million.
I say he's going to go anywhere. I don't think Declan Rice is going to go anywhere this summer, not for 80 million. The thing with Declan Rice is he could play as a centre back, he can play as a defensive midfielder. I think he's going to be a good player. I think he will come to Chelsea, but it's a matter of time. When is he going to come to Chelsea? This year or next year? If he comes for 60 million or lower, I say yes, go for him. But we want our entire bank aimed at the Erling Haaland deal. If that falls through, then we'll get Declan Rice.
Okay, so Erling Haaland. Okay.
Yep. If it doesn't go for Haaland, I'm pretty sure Rice is going to end up at Chelsea. United is never going to get Declan Rice. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we'll never get him. I've accepted it.
It's not going to work. You guys mess up deals, like you've said, especially with Chelsea, that Chelsea factor. After them winning the Champions League, no, not going to happen at all.
Yeah, I just don't think Declan Rice is ever going to leave below 80 million. Because this summer he's going to be around 100, which is crazy to think. He's going to be around 100 million this summer. Next summer he's going to be around 80. And then 2 summers from now is when, I'm not sure if his contract is up or anything, but that's when he'll probably be the most available. I just think he has his boyhood Chelsea fan, his best friend plays for Chelsea. I don't know, man. Haaland is the priority according to Josh. And I think that is the priority for Chelsea as well, Erling Haaland. What a player he's going to be, what a signing he's going to be. And I think he will come to the Premier League, because the Premier League is hot right now. And Raiola knows where to get the money. The money's at the Premier League. Haaland's going to come to the Premier League. Whether that will be City or Chelsea. I'm not even going to put United's name in there. I'm not going to make a joke out of that, because no way he's going to come to us. Haaland is the priority, according to Josh. Will that happen this summer with the Sancho deal basically finalized? I'm not sure. Varane, player I've been hoping for a while now. Josh doesn't seem to want him at Chelsea, although representatives of Chelsea might think otherwise. They might think a centre-back is more higher on the priority. That was all for today, folks. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Opinions in Dispute Transfers. Peace out. And I'll be on Josh's channel later to do some more talk on the Euros, on other stuff, on anything related to football. Go check him out. All right. Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks for watching.